Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by and welcome to Visual BI's webinar. Today, Gopal and Varun will evaluate traditional BI tools like SAP Business Objects and compare them against self-service BI and data discovery capabilities of the prominent players in the market, namely Tableau, Power BI, SAP Analytics Cloud, Qlik Sense, and Spotfire. During the presentation, all participants will be in listen-only mode. If you have a question during the presentation, please submit it via the Q&A portion of the screen. Simply type your question into the box and click the send button. Our presenter will address questions at the end of the presentation, time permitting. If you don't hear an answer to your question today, don't worry. We will deliver answers to you individually after the webinar. The webinar is being recorded and a link to the replay will be sent to you via email. Presenting today are Gopal Krishnamurthy and Varun Anand. Gopal Krishnamurthy is the CEO of Visual BI Solutions, a firm he founded in 2010 to transform the field of enterprise business intelligence and analytics. I will now turn the presentation over to Gopal.
Thank you, Andy, and good morning and good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining our very exciting webinar that we have been running for the last 1 year, and due to popular demand, we decided to compare to the traditional IT BI tools, namely SAP Business Objects, to other prominent self-service BI tools. So before we go ahead, I wanted to start off by showcasing the standard legal disclaimer, but I wanted to share with you all, we have put in a lot of effort and to make sure a lot of these information is accurate, but since a lot of the tools get very frequent update cycles, there could be some errors and omissions, or maybe there is a subjective point of view. And if you find anything that is, please do report to us and we would be happy to correct that as it is being referenced by a lot of the customers. We wanted to make sure this is a kind of a guide to help you take the right decision. And it is also very subject to each of your customer environments. So what I wanted to share with you is the agenda today and what we have changed from the agenda perspective to our prior webinars on similar topics. One, we wanted to introduce the company, and then we wanted to dwell more focused on the self-service, which we have been doing by various aspects of the self-service BI. But with this webinar, we wanted to introduce both the traditional BI and the modern BI concepts that are also need to be considered when we compare in making a decision on which tools to use or which of the tools to use. And then we will go into the summary of each of the tools' strengths and limitations, the pricing, and how do you actually go about taking a decision. We will try to share a very comprehensive decision tree and some case studies, and also during the conclusion, we will share our point of view and wisdom on how do we go about doing one for your own organization. First off, I would like to have the pleasure of introducing Visual BI that I founded in 2010 with a passion for BI to how do we drive adoption in organization. And because of the strong background in the SAP, a lot of the customers do run SAP, and Visual BI has been challenged to drive adoption. So what we have done over the years is by leveraging our software products. We have 3 major software products. We have VBA View, which is a portal to integrate multiple BI tools, an ideal topic to talk about, how that plays into our today's webinar. We have visualization extension. How do you drive adoption of your Lumira so that you can maximize your business objects investments? And then we have value driver tree for executives for doing dynamic planning and simulations. But what we also have been doing to drive adoption is going out to the customers and training on a lot of the self-service BI tools. And recently we have been doing a lot of Power BI trainings because a lot of the customers are exploring Power BI, and we have been actively offering Power BI training and Analytics Cloud and Lumira trainings to our customers. What it has done, because of our reputation in the marketplace, is we have been able to acquire a lot of marquee customers because of our end-to-end offering in the BI and analytics space. And I'm very happy to share we have extended our success in the SAP ecosystem to the Microsoft ecosystem, and we have been recognized as Microsoft's gold partner in the data analytics space as well. So I wanted to showcase our customer portfolio just to give you an idea of the depth and breadth of the industries and the geographies that we service, and this customer acquisition is testament to our expertise that we provide in BI and analytics. One of the things that I wanted to share with you is the reason why we have been able to acquire a lot of customers and keep those customers happily serviced is because of our niche focus in the BI and analytics space. And I wanted to share with you, although we are called Visual BI, most of our revenue does come from mostly in the strategy, the backend data warehousing, data lakes, and lately we have been doing a lot of migration to Azure. A lot of customers want to deploy their BW or HANA in Azure, or roll out Power BI as a self-service BI tools. And this is something that I'm pretty proud to share, that not only as an end-to-end company, we are able to evolve with the changing dynamics in the marketplace, with how cloud is basically taking over in a lot of the BI implementations. Let's dive into the crux of the webinar today. And this is a very popular cover slide I would like to share. Is the devil is in the details, and we are going to go through the details. We have 3 SAP tools on one spectrum, a couple of them from the Business Objects stack, that is Web Intelligence and SAP Lumira. And then SAP Analytics Cloud is SAP's modern self-service BI offering, which is pure cloud-based, and then comparing it to the market leaders like Tableau, Qlik Sense, Spotfire, and Power BI. So let's start off. The comparison always evokes a lot of very subjective opinions, and there is always there is an argument that you are comparing apples to oranges. Business always imports the data, downloads the data from ECC or maybe from a spreadsheet, and then they are able to quickly deliver, and then go to IT and said, okay, you are taking a lot of time to deliver something for me, but I've got it done in a couple of hours. But there is fundamental differences. IT is always trying to be focused more about security, data governance, and live connections. But business is all about, let's get it done in an agile manner. So there is always a tussle. And what we wanted to start off by saying, we are going to help you comprehend those comparisons and how do you make a proper decision making from a strategy standpoint. We can't do that without actually explaining the different content types. I think customers are interchangeably using storyboards, formatted reports, dashboards, and applications. What has happened is maybe 5 years back, there is only reports and dashboards, but the market has evolved to more agile storyboards, and then on one spectrum, and then enterprise applications or more BI applications on the other spectrum. And if you look at it, on one spectrum, more self-service and business involvement. On the other spectrum, you have more IT with complex workflows and all of that stuff. So what we have tried to do is, we wanted to start off this webinar by introducing, customers are interchangeably using storyboards as dashboards and dashboards as storyboards, and each of the tools are trying to do all of these use cases or the different content types. But what we are finding out is the self-service tools are very good in the storyboards, but not necessarily in reports. Maybe Webby is very strong in Crystal in formatted reports. What we wanted to do is, we wanted all the audience and the customers to be cognizant of what the business is asking for. That's when the comparison really makes sense. So today we are going to do this webinar, but we are comparing tools. So that's something like Lumira Designer that is very strong in applications, to Tableau or Power BI, which is very strong in storyboards. I just wanted to just set the stage for the audience to keep this in mind while we go through the content. The other important item we wanted to introduce to everybody is understand some of the terminologies. Just when we talk about data sources, it could be a direct database, it could be an EDW connection, it could be an OLAP, it could be a big data, it could be a NoSQL, it could be a flat file. So what I wanted to share with you is something to keep this in mind. You have to have the context in mind. When people say in memory, people say offline data, what do they mean? What kind of roles they play? We are going to try to take all of this into account when they say collaboration, all of this into account to make sure you get a holistic picture of how do you compare and evaluate tools for your organization. So let's go about introducing the tools. Today you have, from a traditional BI standpoint, you have taken SAP Business Objects, simply because most of our customers run business objects from the SAP ecosystem. We have Webby, which is the most prominent reporting tool. And then we have taken Lumira, which is also part of the business object stack that has been a primary go-forward tool for SAP for the last 5-6 years. But now lately, SAP is making a big push into Analytics Cloud as more and more customers are demanding a cloud-only offerings where they don't want to be in the business of managing hardware and server. So that's where you will see Analytics Cloud being the SAP's modern analytics platform that is fully cloud-based, that is fully browser-based. Then you have Power BI, which is clearly leading in the market. Even Gartner has clearly has them as leading in the self-service BI space. And even if you look at it, primarily it is bundled with Office 365. It has really, with the frequent releases, taken the market by storm and really hanging on. And Tableau has been the gold standard on self-service BI. And we also have Qlik Sense, which is actually the next generation product of Qlik, from QlikView to Qlik Sense, and then the Spotfire. Both Qlik and Spotfire have been in the market for quite some time, and they have passionate users, so it makes sense to compare them because they are rightfully, and while we go through, you will see while we have included them in the comparison. So let's dive a little bit deeper into some of the SAP tools, while then we will go into each of the non-SAP tools as well. One of the things that we want to start off by highlighting, there has been some confusion, and then because there has been some changes in the SAP strategy, that maybe Lumira is dead, or maybe SAP Business Objects is maybe probably not. But what I wanted to share with you all is there has been some slight changes, but it is significant for a lot of you customers. Is when SAP announced on February 7th, which we have it on the left-hand side, most of the data discovery use cases were going to Analytics Cloud. So a lot of the customers that thought maybe Lumira doesn't have a feature, but they completely ignored the fact that Lumira has two components, Lumira Discovery and Lumira Designer. And a lot of the legacy BI tools were either replaced by Lumira or Analytics Cloud. Now, if you look at the June 4th at Sapphire, they made several corrections based on the customer feedback. If you look at it closely, it is clearly a conversation of, does the customer want to be on-premise or the cloud? The data discovery use case is back in the on-premise. Now you can see it's not just dashboard and application. Now it's data discovery and application. Even analysis for OLAP use cases moved into Lumira. And it is something that is to keep it very important for SAP Business Objects customer. If you have an existing SAP Business Objects investment, you need not panic. That's the key message I wanted to deliver. You can always transition to Analytics Cloud for your self-service BI use case. They are designed to be complementary and coexisting, but not one replaces the other. That is the key message I would like to share with you. This is the SAP's latest BI portfolio slide, and this is again reinforces that the data discovery use cases will be primarily serviced through Analytics Cloud. The app design and data discovery for on-premise customers will be serviced through Lumira Designer, and then the reporting would be serviced through Webby and Crystal Reports. Your analysis for Office is there for your Microsoft Office integration. And Analytics Hub is there to integrate both your on-premise and your cloud of SAPs, and then multiple BI tools into one. But the most important message that I would like to share with you is SAP made an announcement of Business Objects 4.3 release recently, and that means that your business objects investments are pretty safe. If you move into the new release, your investments probably not even 2024, probably even 2030, because every new release gets minimum of 7 years of mainstream maintenance. That means if you are an existing business objects customers, you can feel comfortable to use the existing tools like Webbies and Crystals and AOs and not try to pause and panic. That's the key message, because you will see while we go through that these are also a viable contender for continue to deliver your BI deliverables. I wanted to switch to the Lumira offerings. Lumira has two components, Discovery and Designer. Obviously, Discovery is sort of on a maintenance and support mode from the end of this year, but Designer is a go-forward tool. As you saw, it serves the application use case, and you can continue to use Lumira Designer for your application use cases. I would like to take an opportunity to introduce Analytics Cloud here. You can see Analytics Cloud is a modern BI platform with integrated capabilities for planning, predictive, and they plan to introduce app building as well. One of the things I wanted to share that I already shared with you is about storyboards, reports, dashboards, and application. And you can see the future BI tools will want to do all of them and then provide more advanced BI capabilities, which is what Analytics Cloud is trying to provide to the customers and in the cloud. So if you look at SAP's Analytics Cloud offering, they have a BI offering, and then you have a for planning, and obviously there is for predictive, and they all have a different price points. Now, although we are an SAP partner, we don't have purview to the discounts and how exactly the cloud extension policy works. Obviously, this is the listed price that we have found from SAP's website, but we request you to talk to the reps to get a detail on maybe you may be eligible for discounts or a bundled offering, but we are not privy to. But this is what we wanted to share with you, that even though the price is $24 a user for BI, but if you want to use some of the advanced capabilities like planning, predictive, the pricing is actually different. And it's something that you need to keep it in mind. One of the things is a lot of customers have been asking for, hey, is Analytics Cloud ready? They're asking for feedback. So I thought, we have some early adopter customers like KMG Chemical who have been live with Analytics Cloud for well over a year. We spoke with them at Sapphire, and you have the video testimonial. We are also going to run a webinar on August 30th. I would like you to check out that webinar where our customer Fricky will come live, and he will talk about Analytics Cloud and SAP platform, how they did all their data warehouse, data modeling in the cloud. So something that those who are interested, please register for that webinar on our website, something to keep learn more about. Moving on to Power BI. Power BI has really captivated in the last 3 years with a somewhat of a coherent offering between Power BI Online and Power BI Desktop, and bundled within the Office 365 ecosystem with the gateway and service. So something to keep in mind, you may need gateways, but what I also wanted to share with you is most customers think Power BI is free. Yes, that's primarily why a lot of customers, there is a familiarity with Power BI is because it's free. It has zero barrier to entry. A lot of business users are downloading, they get familiar with Power BI Desktop. But the actual, the moment you want to share and collaborate, it's $9.99 for the Power BI Pro. And then for larger, there is obviously a premium for more scalable with the gateway and some of the embedded concepts that you can use. But what I wanted to share with you is a lot of the the products have similar offerings, you just need to be able to get the, talk to your rep and get so that it is a fair comparison. Some of the customers have been asking us about, our experiences with Power BI. We have been lately doing quite a bit of Power BI rollouts, Power BI trainings. What I wanted to share with you is, as an early adopter to the Power BI success story, we have been working with a Fortune 100 customer in setting up their Azure data lakes and rolling out Power BI successfully. And we have a great success story where the business adoption is phenomenal. And I thought I would share with you. And again, we will be doing a webinar around that topic in August as well. Watch out for that. Tableau, I would say, the gold standard for self-service and visualization. And in the last 7-8 years, they have really taken and has built a brilliant community. I would say the Tableau's biggest thing is how popular it is with the user base in terms of their passion for Tableau with their desktop and their Tableau online, the community. Now, recently Tableau came out with the Tableau Prep, and it has had some very good reviews where Tableau is slowly evolving, where you can even do more complex modeling. So that has become Tableau's strength. Tableau's weakness was always its pricing. And I think Tableau has recently, compared to our last webinar, they are differentiated where they have tried to create a Tableau viewer license, to try to only charge for the actual Tableau content creators versus people who actually explore and do ad hoc analysis versus somebody who's just going to consume the information. I think that is a very good move on the Tableau's part. But just to give you an idea of Tableau's, and it also has an on-premise offering and a public cloud offering or a fully hosted offering as well. Qlik, definitely Qlik is one of the leaders in the self-service BI space, and Qlik pioneered the concept of in-memory engine, and the performance and the user experience was phenomenal. And they transitioned from their QlikView offering to their Qlik Sense offering because they wanted, the market was more moving towards more of a self-service desktop base. So they had to transition in competition. So that is something that I would like to mention, that Tableau, Qlik also has come out with the cloud and offering. So you can see how fast the market is evolving, and to catch up with some of the data preparation and the data hub. So Qlik recently acquired Podium Data. So I wanted to share that just mainly because how fast things change and how each of the tools are competing with each other to catch up with the market, to keep pace. That's how fast things are changing in this space. Spotfire has been a top contender in this space, but their dominance is restricted to few industries, but then they also have a very die-hard user base. And you can see they have a lot of rich capabilities from data discovery, data wrangling, and has one of the best location analytics and advanced analytics capabilities. We will be going through that in detail. And Spotfire also has numerous pricing categories and options, but one of the things that you will constantly hear that, oh, Spotfire is very expensive, and it is rightly so. It's justified just because it is a very rich platform, but it has been negative to Spotfire's adoption. It's because customers see Power BI or Tableau a little more easier barrier to entry in terms of ease of access and the price points compared to Spotfire. So what I would like to do is, let's get into the meat of the webinar and let's go about going through the comparison. So I wanted to share with you the definition, the evaluation criteria. We have introduced the fifth column, advanced, because a lot of the customers have been saying, we have been talking about the simple data acquisition and data visualization, but a lot of the customers are demanding more. How do we compare when we take into account advanced and futuristic BI capability. So we have included that in our comparison, and then sharing and collaboration has become very important these days as well. Let's go into the data acquisition and preparation. So one of the things we wanted to share with you is the SAP Business Objects platform provides some of the best connectivity to BW, HANA, and universes. That's primarily the strength. Now with universes, a lot of customers have existing investments with a lot of universes that have complex modeling. So customers are looking to reuse universes, and that becomes the strength for Webby and Lumira, and Analytics Cloud is coming out with very robust universe connectivity as well. And Analytics Cloud is investing heavily into connecting to a lot of the cloud applications like Concur and SuccessFactors. So if you look at the SAP stack, they provide, all the three products provide pretty good connectivity to the SAP ecosystem. When we come to the Power BI, same thing, Power BI provides very good connectivity to Microsoft-based data sources and Azure Data Lake. They also provide extensive connectors, and then if you want to really use, that's where the enterprise gateway comes in for some of the connectivities. Tableau has a lot of rich connectors, more than 100 plus, both live and acquired mode, and that's where if you really want to get into the complex data preparation and acquisition scenarios, that's where the Tableau extracts and hypers come into play. And Qlik, same Spotfire, you can't really differentiate among them, but they also have very powerful, but Qlik relies on more of importing the data into their in-memory engine. So that's where Qlik will really shine once you acquire the data. So we wanted to get into the details, and you can clearly see some of the nitty-gritties of it. You can really separate the tools based on the connectivity. Because of our customer base, we have tried to keep the comparison more focused. We're assuming the data mostly comes from SAP. How does it connect to BW? How does it connect to HANA? Both import mode, live mode. Obviously, a lot of you on the webinar will say, hey, Tableau can connect to BW, Power BI can. Yes, there is no two ways about it. They do connect, but they always come with some limitations. That's why we have an yellow there, yellow mark, to say that watch out for some of the limitations because of BICS connectivity versus an MDX or the public connectivity. So they come with some of the limitations that you need to watch out for. Other than that, you can really separate out these tools in terms of connectivity. Modeling the data, that is the data preparation. You acquire the data and you want to model within the tool. That's where some of the differences starts to show up, and clearly Tableau and Power BI are competing and in this space, and they are really leading the market, and Spotfire is pretty close contender there. But what I wanted to share with you is, if you really look at it, if you don't need some of the features, SAP and Qlik Sense are not too far behind. And Analytics Cloud right now is a little bit behind, but I have seen a lot of the roadmap things on the public where there is heavy investment in closing the gaps around the data preparation, modeling the data, and I think with the frequent releases, this gap might be narrowed as well. So there is not a lot of, if you look at it today, Tableau and Power BI really stands ahead, but we don't see that lasting by the end of the year. The gap could be narrowed as well among the tools. Let's get into the visualization and exploration aspects of the tools. So one of the things we wanted to do was get down to the meat of a lot of the popular basic charts and the advanced charts, and we wanted to see, and even though Webby is a reporting tool, you would be surprised, it does have quite a bit of visualization charts. So, Webby can do basic dashboards, and a testament to that is look at the amount of charts that it has available. And then you also have Lumira, that is, so you can really separate out the tools based on, okay, this tool has this number of charts or that, because there is obviously third-party extension that can close the gap for a tool. So when you take all that into account, you can really separate tools based on, oh, this tool has more charts. And again, it's a continuation. You have some of the more advanced charts here. You could really see there is not a lot of differences among the tools. Mapping capabilities is where you will start to see some of the differences to start show up. VB is not as rich when it want to really showcase in terms of mapping capability, and the ones that would really stand out are like Tableau and Spotfire in when you take strictly based on the ability to do really location-based analysis. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you is, Visual BI does specialize in doing custom extensions for Lumira Designer, and we have over 100 customers that use, and it is the #1 analytic extension in the SAP App Center, primarily because we fill the gap for Lumira Designer so that a customer can maximize their business objects and Lumira. Just because, say, a Gantt chart is not available, they don't want to give up on Lumira, so they usually buy our extension and then provide some comprehensive capabilities that the business has been. So it has been extremely successful in closing the gap the tool has, and Power BI has similar extensions, and we are working on transferring or transitioning some of the porting over our extension to Power BI market. I'm sure Tableau is also coming out with an SDK, and Qlik Sense already has a robot market, Spotfire has. So what I would like to suggest is please take that into account, because just because a tool doesn't have a chart, you can't give up on a tool. You may be able to use the standard SDK custom extension and close that gap and continue to leverage your existing investments. So in summary, if you look at the visualization aspects of it, Tableau, Qlik Sense, they are leading by various measures, but then Power BI and Spotfire are pretty close. And Analytics Cloud has really caught up quite well, and I do think when they release the app design, they would get a credit for applications, and a lot of the tools are trying to provide, Power BI is trying to provide reporting capability into Power BI that is coming out in future roadmap. So the gaps would narrow. So again, VB is a reporting tool, but it does do some of the things like basic charts very well. It can do some of the capabilities that we talked about. Let's move on to the data collaboration and mobile. So one of the things that to keep in mind is, do we have ability? So if you look at this is extremely important. All the tools can really do well on the browser based. They all provide basic chatting and collaboration. Some do very well, some do, somewhat partially. So one of the key things that we have to really be, customers are demanding more commenting, annotation, and the ability to do so. You just wanted to keep in mind, Tableau really stands out along with Spotfire in this particular segment. One of the key things to note here is Analytics Cloud does not have a desktop component. It is a pure cloud BI tool. So there is nothing to install. There is nothing local. That's just a way of telling the customers that the future is everything is going to be in the cloud. So that is a key differentiator. If you look at all the tools, there is a desktop component for all the tools except Analytics Cloud. Let's go to the new section, the traditional and enterprise, because a lot of the customers have been asking us, because a lot of the strategy, we have to look at it from our current ecosystem standpoint. We want to reuse our security. We want to reuse some of our existing like Office 365, SharePoint, some of our existing investments. So let's evaluate based on taking those into consideration. Some of the key things that are important. A lot of people say we have complex data models already built, we want to reuse. So one of the things that we wanted to do is, let's take some of the things like the semantic layer is your universes, your existing reuse of a business objects platform, or Microsoft Azure. So you will see, suddenly you will see Power BI and SAP trying to kind of lead the pack just because they have an ecosystem of Power BI or a business object server or a platform that is already established, able to reuse some of that stuff. So they do get some extra points for those existing infrastructure. Similarly, customers have been asking for about upgrades, version management, security. So we have tried to take all of those into account, and we have tried to evaluate each of the tools based on what we have been seeing and doing the assessment. You will see again, Business Objects as a platform has some of the rich IT-centric capabilities. And that is something that you can continue to leverage. That is something I wanted to highlight. It has a rich history. The Business Objects platform has a rich history. That's why they kind of rank higher in a lot of these categories, especially the Webby broadcasting and publication is one of the best in the market. The Webby reports going out, getting scheduled and refreshed. So something that to keep in mind. So the data governance is just as a summary. If you really look at it, there is not a lot to separate these tools. In general, a lot of them are improving their SSO capabilities. I would say they are almost kind of on par in this category. There's not like one player that stands out significantly better over the others, the reuse of the security models and all, but it's something that you need to keep it in mind. This is another new section, modern BI and advanced analytics capabilities. So mobile has been a key topic, and you can clearly see some of the things like, will it work on an Android phone? Will it work on a Windows web browser, desktop, Windows, Mac, offline, responsive, a lot of those things. And we try to clearly, and when you look at all of those factors, you can see Power BI is clearly leading the pack. On the same token, we took a little bit on the availability of SDK, the API, scripting, R integration, Python more from a data scientist perspective, more at like the smart advanced predictions, some of the planning capabilities. And you can see Analytics Cloud is not too far behind, and it is really focusing a lot on advanced analytics capability, and it has a lot more than what is listed. So you can clearly see there is not a lot to separate, but that's where Business Objects really, as you move into more advanced analytics and modern, it's not a modern platform. The modern platform has different set of requirements. These are more the modern tools. Again, continuing further, some of the other factors like embedding, more cloud, pre-built content, more AI and machine learning based discovery, natural language processing, which is like big Power BI centric feature. And then the interoperability, the concept of business creates a storyboard and then IT takes it and then polish it. So those are some of the concepts that are getting really popular in enterprises. So when we take all of that into evaluate, you can see a lot of the self-service BI tools really shining here compared to our traditional BI tools. So we are going to dive into the conclusions. So one of the things I kind of alluded to you. So if you take the traditional BI tools like SAP Business Objects, you will see it really integrates very well with an SAP ecosystem. Like if you are a BW customer or a Business Objects Universe customer or a HANA customer, you are really going to be really happy because you can reuse a lot of the factors and it has the native connectivity. Now you come to Analytics Cloud, it is a more of a modern, completely cloud-based, but it has more modern capabilities, like it integrates planning and predictive, and the app design is going to come. It has very good commenting and collaboration features. The digital boardroom is extremely unique to Analytics Cloud. That is, and then it has IBCS certification for a lot of the Hikert charts and something that is very popular in Europe. Now, Power BI strengths, like I touched on, the free desktop and the Office 365 integration, and it has definitely captured with the NLP. But what is very interesting is the frequency of updates, and then there is a ease of use and how the customers feel that getting entry into a Power BI world. I think that is what has given the lot of the, but then Power BI, Microsoft has kept up with frequent updates, and there is talk of extensive data preparation capabilities and reporting capability coming into the Power BI in the upcoming release. They are building on from strength to strength. And Tableau has also doing a pretty good job. They came out recently with the Tableau Prep, but most customers do consider Tableau to be the market leader and a gold standard, and definitely it has maintained a very good customer satisfaction. And they have tried to revise pricing to a lot of the competitive threats from Power BI and try to make it more customer aligned. It's something to keep in mind. And Qlik is also definitely trying to change, but one of the things that we do see in the market is Spotfire and Qlik are not too far behind. In fact, Spotfire has a lot of advanced capabilities. It has very good location analysis capabilities, but it's something that we don't see the mind share as much as we used to see 3-4 years back. The mind share is mostly with Power BI and Tableau, and now Analytics Cloud is trying to compete, and we will have to wait and see. So this is where some of the limitations I touched on, where, you know, if you look at the traditional BI tools like Webby and Lumira, they really don't provide extensive big data connectivity or more like a NoSQL connectivity. There is lack of modern BI capability. So they are very strong in the traditional IT delivered functionalities, the standard governance and all that. But if you really go out of it, and then the data preparation, the agility, so a lot of that are continue to be the weakness. SAP Analytics Cloud does have some weaknesses. One of the things is the data preparations could be better, and SAP is working on it. And there is lack of desktop tool that is seen as a weakness by some customers. And when it comes to Power BI, you know, customers do complain about the DAX scripting. Customers feel the BW connectivity could be better, and you know, Microsoft is saying that they're coming out with better connectivity to SAP data sources. Tableau really, some of the biggest complaints can be about pricing and not a lot of robust SDK to customize out of it, and the dependency on Tableau extracts for performance. Those are some of the limitations that we hear and we see. Now, in terms of Qlik Sense, Qlik is really, you know, in an acquired mode with their in-memory engine really shines, but then in a live mode, it is not really as robust or as a strong contender in a live mode compared to the other tools. And mobile is not also, it's somewhat not rich, and something customers are still struggling in understanding Qlik View and Qlik Sense. I think there is a market confusion in terms of the transition that seems as a limitation. Spotfire, it does have a lot of very good complex features, but somehow it is not able to adopt newer customers. You know, with the existing customer base, it is very popular, but people see it as expensive in terms of pricing, and it doesn't really seem to have like an integrated planning or so. But the core of the thing, although it is strong, we just don't see it gathering the mind share as rich of a product it is as we would like to see. So again, I don't want to repeat it again. It's just a summary of some of the pricing that we have gathered from what we have got from public sources, and we have shared it for an easy evaluation. Let me spend a little bit of time on the summary. This is a very, very important summary that we try to put it together. We took all of this into consideration. Let's look at self-service BI capability. Let's look at traditional BI capabilities. Let's look at modern BI capabilities. Let's try to provide us a quick summary, and you can clearly see in terms of connectivity and data preparation, Power BI and Tableau are really, really the leaders. When it comes to visualization, you know, Tableau and Qlik are leading, but not far. There is not really hardly anything to separate the tool. When it comes to sharing and collaboration, you know, Tableau and Spotfire are there, but I wouldn't say Power BI is too far behind. When it comes to pure technology integration, platform features, you will see the traditional business objects tools will shine just because of just the history. Microsoft is up there just because of the history of providing enterprise capabilities. Those tools will stand out. Now you come to modern, this is where you will start to see Analytics Cloud starting to shine, and you will see like Spotfire already ahead. What we do think is that the gap by the end of the year, because both Power BI and Analytics Cloud are doing these frequent updates, and we are very curious how this ratings would change among these self-service BI tools by the end of this year. So it's going to be very interesting. But what we wanted to highlight is these ratings will change based on your environment. Let's say you have an existing investment, we have to factor that in. So something that is very important is, let's say a lot of your business community knows a tool, that is a factor, key factor to consider. So you can't take literally this ratings and say this is the best, let's go and buy. Because you got to consider some of your existing investments, some of your existing data sources, all those will play into. So that is a little bit of a disclaimer we wanted to throw at you. And the other thing is the constant updates a lot of these tools are doing. They are going and acquiring, like Qlik has recently acquired, I don't know what is going to do suddenly to their product outlook. So that is something you need to keep it in mind when you are making an evaluation. What we also thought we will do is put together a comprehensive decision tree on, okay, if I want to use the product in iOS, what are my choices? So if I want to do it in like based on a data source, or based on an ecosystem, or based on a user profile, what kind of visualization? So something we have tried to make it a little easier for our community, user community, to say, okay, let's try to give you a kind of a flow diagram. And this is a constant request that a lot of the customers, hey, should we go about migrating to Analytics Cloud? I think it is a very tricky decision, because if you have an existing business objects investments, one of the things we wanted to highlight is business objects will coexist with Analytics Cloud. They are designed to be a hybrid, complementary. They are not be like one replace over the other. But if you insist on being all 100% cloud, absolutely you should do it. So we have tried to help based on if you have an existing investments, do you have a legacy reports, and try to guide you through a kind of a thought process on how do you go about the migration. So one of the things that a lot of our customers have been engaging us to do a customized self-service BI tool comparison and a data strategy. So where we quickly do a 1 week or a 2 week engagement. Maybe we eliminate the tools that is not in consideration, and then try to put together a customized strategy and recommendation for them, because customers are struggling. Do I go with one tool, or do I go with multiple tools, or what is the right thing? There is a lot of confusion. And that is something that we have done for one of our financial services customer in Atlanta. We have done similar, much more from one of our Fortune 100 customers in the food and beverages industry. But they had a different perspective. They wanted to take it into account, the user types, the traditional tools, the existing investments. So we have been able to customize and create variations based on their existing investments, and this has been extremely successful. So what I wanted to do is tell you is this is little bit subjective and little bit to your environment, so I wanted to keep this in mind. So one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to get to the key wisdom points that is very important in evaluations. One of the things is define your user personas in making a decision. You have consumers who make up more than 80% of the audience. You have the authors, BI authors, or people who are constantly in need of agile data preparations or advanced data scientist capabilities. So once you identify the user community, separate them, the tool decision makes a little bit easy. Don't try to satisfy one tool and try to satisfy everybody. The tool doesn't exist today. Something that keep in mind, know your user, that is extremely important. We have a constant question. I have multiple data warehouses. I have multiple BI tools. So the customers either want to use one BI tool. So we try to tell them, you got to consolidate on your data sources to make it easy for one tool. So you got to pick your poison, or you got to pick your tool. Either you can have a data warehouse that integrates very well with one BI tool, or you basically live with having to deal with multiple BI tools. Something that you have to be cognizant. Do you want to have a strategy for the data warehouse and data lake, or do you want to have the strategy for a particular BI tool? And some of the things that we do see is a lot of customers are taking a tool decision based on trying out with the spreadsheet data. I think it's extremely important you do the trial based on your user type and all data sources. Extremely important that you need to keep this in mind. And what we are also finding out is, let's say one department, like say sales loves Qlik, doesn't mean finance is going to switch from the analysis for Office, which they love, or marketing is going to stop loving Tableau. We see this in all the customers. And then we also see that just because a tool worked, say Tableau worked for a customer, doesn't mean another customer can make Tableau work for. So you got to keep it in mind. Your user types, your company culture, that is extremely important. It's very personal. What we have come to acceptance is multiple BI platforms are going to here to stay. It's a very, very subjective and personal, and there is not a lot to separate out the tools. So today companies are having probably more licenses than the number of employees. They have probably 3,000 Power BI users, another 5,000 Tableau users, and then maybe another 10,000 Business Objects users. But then the number of employees could be only like 12,000. So something that we see quite a bit, that customers, multiple BI tools are very, very popular among customers. So one of the things that we have been heavily investing as one of our product offering is, companies have a need to have a unified gateway for all the BI content. They don't even know, they have a daily sales report in Tableau, but they are going and searching in Business Objects and finding out that report doesn't exist. So we have created a product that integrates all the common BI platform tools into a single, with an automatic synchronization. We are the only product that provides, like, you create a new Tableau report or a Power BI, it will automatically sync into the portal. It will provide smart search capability. It will even tell you, hey, the report exists, but you don't have access for it. Hey, go ahead and request access. So we are going to do a webinar with a new modern UI, everything, next month in August. So I want you to, either do a trial or join us for the webinar. And as a kind of a closing remark, I wanted to leave out with the thought before I go to the question is, if you look at the evolution of the BI tools, you used to have formatted reports, then the ad hoc came, then performance came in, ClickView led, and then the visualization Spotfire led for something, and then Tableau led for quite some time in the market, and then now Power BI is taking over with the cloud BI concept. And now what we do see is the market is moving more and more towards integrated BI platforms in the cloud, where you have both modern BI capabilities as well as your traditional BI capabilities, but everything in the cloud in one integrated tool. That's where the market is headed. And there are a lot of contenders, but it's very hard to predict. The market, the self-service and data visualization is extremely fickle. So I just wanted to kind of show you just something to watch out for. Something that for the audience today, if you want a free assessment or like something, that we are happy to have a meeting with you and have a discussion around it. And I would like to move on to the questions, and I would be joined by Varun, and we will try to take some questions. So one of the question is, what is the future of BEX Analyzer? I think the BEX Query Designer itself will be there, but SAP is recommending that BEX Analyzer customers should move to analysis for Office. So I think that is the SAP's roadmap. So a lot of customers have been moving a lot of their BEX Analyzer to more analysis for Office. We are going to share the recording of the webinar and we are going to share the slides. So please give us a day or two. We will definitely, for all those who registered, we will share this content. I think Varun, can you take this question on Power BI supports change log, delta alerts in the cloud?
Yeah, sure. So change log or transformation logs is more on the data modeling capabilities. So if you do any changes, like you change the data value types, or you're actually done like an append or merge, all those get logged as step-by-step instructions, and you can actually go back and edit those features which you've done. It's similar to like an advanced version of undo. So this is available in Power BI. It'll be appearing on the get data option or the query option on the right side. And it's also available in a couple of other tools right now, even in SAP Analytics Cloud.
Got it. Thank you. Now, one of the question is, does SAP Analytics Cloud support custom visualization? I think the answer is right now, no, but SAP is planning to release the SDK for custom visualization, hopefully by Q4 or early next year. So we are waiting and we are looking forward to that. Are we providing Power BI custom visualization? Actually, today we are actively in development of providing custom Power BI visualizations like Gantt chart and some of the advanced visualization. We are definitely working on Power BI, and I think you will see a lot more on Power BI, where a lot of the custom visuals will be coming out from Visual BI. For public sharing analytics, what tool platform would you recommend? This is more external facing, not internal facing. Varun, can you take that question?
Sure. So in terms of public sharing, obviously, like, tools like Tableau, head the market. But right now, tools like Microsoft Power BI also have embedding BI functionality. So primary tools would be tools like, the third-party tools like Tableau, Power BI, and even like to some extent, even Qlik and Spotfire. But if you're looking at within a particular technology stack, for example, within SuccessFactors, if you want to embed reports, and if you're heavy on SAP, Analytics Cloud also is a great option to go forward.
Another question on HANA modeling in Analytics Cloud. It doesn't support acquire mode. Varun, can you take that question?
Yeah, so currently in case of SAP Analytics Cloud, only HANA live connectivity is supported. This is because they have the SCP, which is a SAP Cloud platform, where they actually move all the modeling capabilities and extend even capabilities for like PAL libraries and things like that. So that's the reason they just have a live connection, and they depend as a best practice to do all the modeling and then only connect live compared to an import option.
Just a point, we don't do a lot of implementations on MicroStrategy, but it is a key tool that we have integrated with VBA View. So a lot of customers came back to us, and next time when we do the webinar, we do plan to run in comparison to MicroStrategy. It is another very strong enterprise BI tool. We have nothing against it. So we will definitely add MicroStrategy in our future webinars in comparison, but we did see it as a need to integrate it with VBA View. Yes, MicroStrategy is part of our VBA View product. This question is looking for a second option to SAP Business Objects. Should we look at Power BI or Tableau? I think this is where our custom assessment or a custom where we look at your data sources and then we make a recommendation. If you already have how much of a Microsoft investments you have, or how much of more big data or data lake in AWS. So if you look at it closely, if you have a lot of investments in AWS, you should go with Tableau. If you have a lot of investments in the Microsoft stack, Power BI, or if you're already in Office 365 Power BI, just to give you an idea. So, we have quite a bit of experience with SAP integration to Power BI, SAP BW to Power BI, or SAP HANA to Power BI. Again, there is no magic bullet. A lot of customers would like us to help make sure, but like we said, Power BI or Tableau, they will obviously come with limitations when they come with BW, so it's something to be cognizant of and then plan for the projects with understanding the limitations and then trying to work with it. That's the recommendation we would do. For a business objects customer, what is the linear curve, Power BI or Tableau? Varun, you want to take that question?
Yeah, sure, sir. So again, each one of those tools are like, independent of the business object stack. So the learning curve as such would be pretty much same for Tableau or Power BI. It's again, like how it was mentioned in the previous question, that it really depends upon what is your current tech stack and what are your data sources and what's your end goals that you would want to reach. Do you have Office 365? All those will be contributing factors to the learning curve, but pretty much Power BI and Tableau have like the same kind of learning curve because both of them are strong in self-service BI perspective.
Oh, thank you. So if you are already, one of the questions talks about we are already using Lumira Discovery, but SAP is focusing on SAC. I think one of the things is that's where we had a slide. If you are already using Discovery, it's going to be supported. Obviously, SAC is the go forward, but you can continue to use Discovery until you are ready to move to SAC because it will be supported well past because of the 4.3 announcement, the release. So you don't have to panic and do. But what we would also say is Lumira Designer is not a tool for business. It is a tool for IT. So you don't want to be, you would, for the self-service data discovery, you either continue to use Lumira Discovery or go with Analytics Cloud, or IT can build a template-based self-service ad hoc analysis template that comes out of the Lumira Designer and roll it out. So they could use for ad hoc analysis. So if you look at one of our slide, analysis for all app capabilities are in Lumira Designer. So you could technically have a template and then provide ad hoc analysis capabilities that could technically serve as a business user, end user capability. I think in the essence of time, I would like to wrap up the webinar, but I do wanted to tell you, we would reach out to, if your questions did not get answered, we would reach out to you. We will try to provide an answer on the website. But I do wanted to thank each one of you for attending today, and you have a good day, and we will be reaching out to you with the recording, the slides, and then some of the questions we would answer them. Thank you, everyone.